the companies or they have a starting with zirconium. They starting when they make they call it liner. So they call the liner. In one way, we was very proud, or we expecting some translucency of the zirconium frame, you know. So we expecting some translucency, and the companies makes a liner who was completely opaque. So that start one stupid things, and one copy the other. So I'm sorry, it's not only in the car industry, but it is also in dentistry. One company copy the other one. They don't think. Also, our company did that. No thinking. And we have no bond strength on this liner. Soon we can recognize that when we grind and we cut on the margin. And also we not have a dramatic change of the framework. And we're using space for this liner. That was also another disadvantage. So when I saw zirconium in the first day, I said, my God, I never can control this value of the frame, from the white to maybe to the A shade, yellowish shade. So I tried to check this, and we have our Innova, what is a stain. Innova, including fluorescence. We was that time the first one to have this. And you remember when yesterday, when you see the lecture of Michel Mann, he talked about a lot of fluorescence, about the influence of the tissue and everything. The only company he produced immediately a shoulder powder with over fluorescence. We still have this in creation. So that's because the problem we have mainly to make a copy of our natural dentation is the neck and the approximal. And the neck we have under control with a very, very good shoulder powder. So now I hesitate to, when I look this white, I said, I can never stop this white. So I try, you see, it's easy. So go like this. Yeah, you have more contrast on the. You see, we apply, and we can have a change of intensity. We apply that and paint in one direction better. Not like this, you know, then you have spots. So do it smoothly like that. Of course, the palatinal part always is too bright. And it's difficult to handle. So we can paint them more intense. Just by doing a little bit more of our, and then front we can do it less intense, however we want. Just with one movement, we can change anything. So we make this finish. I go quickly. So you do, and if you recognize we have the central is with a shoulder, with a porcelain shoulder, and canine has zirconium shoulder. So we have two, right? Please. Any stain fluid. Yes, stain fluid. And not mix them too thin. Yeah. So please, the instructor should give the attendants all the number 5, I think so that is already done. And then the fluid, stain liquid. Yeah, I like more a dark one. Dark. This, yeah.
Die schwarze Acryl.
Yeah. Yeah. So drying time, of course, is very short. Firing circle is speed up, and of course no hold. Baking 900. It's out. Just the mixing.
No, that is
This is slightly yellowish pink, so I have not too much translucency on cervical. I using AB just maybe at 10% to stabilize the value on the neck area. Too translucent can be very dramatic, and it's difficult to change subgingival in this area, the porcelain. If you take out your shade bake, and you feel, if you go on top with an instrument like this, you feel that's rough, and that's good like this. So not high shine, it's just we have a kind of a retention surface. It's very good in two ways. First, the bond. Second, also when you apply dentine on top of this frame, it's not move away. So if you have this smooth surface, zirconium goes away and not stick on the frame, you know. So it's also a little advantage here.
okay. Okay, the shoulder porcelain mixture that is used is SP23 and SP22, mixed half-half, and then 10% of the SPAB. and then 10% of the SPAB. He says he uses this regardless of the shade. Even if he doesn't know the exact shade, he always uses this sort of mixture. SP23, SP22, 50-50, and 10% of the SPAB, which is from the bleach kit. It's white, but not more than 10%. And also please, when you apply the Innova, very faint, no puddles, no patches, very faint. Okay, Innova is a strong colored material. Okay. Easy man in charge. You in charge here? Questions for firing trays?
Ja.
22, 23. 50-50 und dann 10% SAB dazu. Dies weiß, ne? Es sind 2 Flaschen unterwegs. And then 10%. Yes.
As many on the same one as possible. So it should be usual.
Das direkt gleich in die Schulter auftragen oder vom Gerüst runter in die Schulter drücken?
Ist eigentlich egal, ja.
Okay, Willie is now applying this mixture to the framework. The shoulder reduction for a zirconia framework is usually less than it is for a PFM because it's an all ceramic material, already transmits a lot of light, and he applies the mixture straight onto the shoulder. And obviously, when you do this, please make sure that the die is sealed and it is then separated, sealed and separated.
We call it in zirconium, with zircon, we not call it shoulder, we call it margin. So we have only a small part of our shoulder covered by shoulder powder. I try that on next to the furnace. It's okay.
Just holding this into the muffle of the Dekima furnace to dry the shoulder. And now lift off here. Check the inside of the framework with some of the particles of the shoulder porcelain might have migrated towards the inside of the coping.
It is not so critical that,
Okay.
but I prefer that because you can etch that,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
not like our tables. Good. So many times we need only one shoulder bake because shoulder addition is so little. Ja. Nein, zuerst kommen die anderen dran. Ja, ja, natürlich. Nein, ich bin nur ein kleiner Teil von. Ich bin nur ein Sechzigstel.
Das war einfach nur Dentin A1 umgemischt, ne?
There's no sound from the
There's no sound for me. Now it's coming, I think so.
I don't know, like in any other room, talking about
Was ist das?
A2, ja.
A2.
Wir machen das ganz einfach. So we don't make a too much sophisticated layering, but it should be, of course, beautiful. That's my standards. Today we make a A1, we make a, where's this bridge?
Sorry. Yep.
So we make a simple 3-unit bridge with step by step we go more chromatic to the canine. That is my standard, what always I have on my slab. I have almost always same thing on my slab. No.
The master? Well, I'm seeing this
So
later on when it's all done, you mean? Yes.
the most
I'll
important
try my best.
enamel is for me
No worries.
SiO2. PSO,
Ist nicht da?
nicht da.
Hol ich schnell.
No, hier.
Okay.
Danke, schon da. We cut already down, we have not all shades what we have in the classic. We cut already down and minimize the amount of the different shades. I think so. We don't need so many. About 20% of PSO to the A1.
Oh, eins.
That means PSO PSO is whitish translucent with opalescence. So we put this to A1. We put this to A1. We make A1 more translucent and of course more white. And because if you have a lot of chroma, I mean dentine has a lot of color in, opalescents are not working. You cannot have a dentine with opalescents. It's impossible because the color we mix make A1 will eat the opalescence, so it's no effect anymore. So we have some other shades in PS, but I never use the PS with another shade. I just give my shade to PSO. My shades are in the dentines or in the HTs or in that, not here. So anyway, I modified the PSO a kind of. PS3 is on PS3 is only a alibi bottle in the PSO series here. Yeah. It is, we call them, how call abspecken in English?
Reduced.
Reduce, yeah.
It'd be nice to have a view of different products, just a quick view.
Of this? Okay. Probably your writing is nicer than mine.
Yes. Hier. Ja, ich brauche dann das schon. SCO10.
Beides SO10 hier, ne?
Different purposes. OT.
This is mixing SO10. This is mixing SO10 with OT, so he's got two SO10s there.
So
This is SO10, this is SO10, and this one is mixed SO10 OT.
should be
Yeah.
enamel with opalescence and the number. But here, the people, when they think opalescence, they do in a little bit blue. That's no right. That is not opalescence. And even you too much color in, you kill the little opalescence. What you want to increase, you do the opposite. That's happened here. So just, this is more opalescence, natural opalescence here. So I just stretch this a little bit, you know. We are not this far. So we're using also, like Sasha mentioned before, we're using CLO almost never. I'm using not straight, just modify other.
It's a mixing medium, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. Wollen Sie Universalflüssigkeit?
Huh?
UF?
Ah ja, komm mal, das.
Das Gel ist nicht, das ist ein bisschen
Ah,
anders.
das ist was anderes.
Ja, das Gel ist nicht so.
Sollte aber auch gehen, oder nicht?
Das ist anders. Also ich machen es mal mit UF, was kennen wir.
Okay, das kennen wir. I have a stain fluid for, that's universal. You can use it for everything. I use it many times to give some drops here to make a smoother mix. The powder is more plastic, more plastish than without, and it's dry less fast out, slower, just a little bit. I feel, I don't know why, I feel when I do that, my porcelain is more smooth after the baking.
So this is now adding the normal build-up liquid to it. So just about 2 drops of the universal liquid, and then mix normal with the normal regular build-up liquid, which is what he's doing now.
A1, A2, and A3.
Das Mechanism nicht drauf. Das
Dann wird er noch sehr wahrscheinlich zwischenmischen, nehme ich an.
Richtig.
HT wahrscheinlich noch von das SOC, OT und C mit rein. Das kommt dann wahrscheinlich noch ein paar Massen zwischenmischen, ein Scoop von dem und ein Scoop
Kommt auch noch dazu.
So this is here. What you can see now on the screen is what he has mixed. Sorry, that's not right. So he's also added CLO to this mixture here. I think in the olden days it used to be 25% OT, 25% SO10, and 50% CLO, sort
Yeah.
of round about that figure. Genau, ja. Also früher hat er mal gesagt, 50, 25,
stimmt,
25, 50. Das war es früher immer. 25% OT, 25% SO10, and then 50% CLO. That's what it used to be.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So now we're coming to the Macon powders, Macon 63. Again, the Macon powders are those really, fluorescent powders, often used for mamelons. And again, it's adding a fair bit of the universal liquid to it. They usually have a slightly different consistency from the other powders. Stimmt das?
Yeah.
And we're mixing a little bit of A3 dentin into it, but just a very small amount, just on the tip of the instrument there. Dentin A3.
You make softer, weaker the 63 for Mamilo. Why we not making the precise opacity for the 63? Because sometimes we needed more opaque, and sometimes we needed less. So it's easier to have, if you have a opaque, more opaque, to make them less opaque than opposite. It's very difficult to make opposite. So not everyone know, for example, if you increase the opacity, you need stains, but you need also white stains to make them opaque. So it would be more difficult than opposite.
Correct.
So that's because it's like this. Not because that we not can do it. We can do it, but I think so. A big part should be always a little bit open, and so everyone can change that.
So just again to clarify this, it's easier when the powder already has, the powder already has a high degree of opacity. It's very easy to make this more translucent. It's easy. It's adjusting translucency is simple. Just put something translucent to it. But if you have a powder that is already too high in translucency, in lacks opacity, it's much harder to make something translucent more opacious. You can't just add stains. You also would have to add white stains to make it more opacious. That's the idea behind the opacity of the creation system. It's easy to make something translucent, but hard to make something translucent more opacious.
And keep your color.
And maintain the color stability at the same time. It's very difficult to do this. So for the pontic area there, it's just taken a single sheet of the tissue. Just one, the tissue comes in 2 sheets. Just taken 1 sheet of that. Swing over to me quickly. You can.
Good.
So just 1 sheet here,
Yeah.
and then he placed it and back. Sorry, it's just 1 sheet here of the tissue, and he's torn off a little piece of that, and he's put it on the model underneath the pontic, and he's wetted that with a bit of UV universal liquid.
So we start, apply.
Can you write this? I have to concentrate. Can you write?
Yes.
You write the build-up, and I'll just.
I was going to draw it.
Okay, sorry. So this is the dentin A1, which has been mixed with PS0. About 20% PS0 has been added to this.
What I try to show a bleach tooth in the central. Then we go a little bit less with value.
So I think what he says is that when he's attempting to achieve a bleach color, he doesn't actually use the bleach dentins, but he takes an A1 dentin and he adds the PS0 to the A1 dentin. And what this does is that it increases the value of the A1 dentin, but also makes it softer because PS0 is still an enamel. It's not that opacious. Instead of using the bleach colors are very, white, everything's sort of white. Is this Innova 9 or what's this?
No, this is white stains.
One Innova or?
Innova.
Ist das die?
White Make-up or Innova, das spielt keine Rolle.
It's just a white stain. It doesn't matter whether it's the white Innova or the white make-up stain. It's just a little bit of a white stain that he's just added to a small portion there. Also note that he's using blotting paper here. This is blotting paper. Blotting paper takes the moisture out of the ceramic very, very slowly, unlike tissue. Tissue will extract the moisture very quickly. Blotting paper does this very, very slowly. Also für die Deutschen, das ist Löschpapier. Kopf ein bisschen auf den Boden.
Ja.
Genau. So now he's basically increased a small amount of the dentin in value by adding a stain to it, and he's adding this now to the proximal a bit and a little bit across.
No. Now I continue already with the base of the lateral.
Here and there and then across. He hasn't used it? I thought he did.
They are using already the very intense application to horizontal.
Can you zoom in a bit more? Okay, so he's putting this a little, almost like a band across with this lighter color.
That is what Sasha mean I did with 43. on the introduction this morning, I invent for a long, long time when even creation not existing, and we worked that time with Vita together. So I invent this opaque stenting, what was necessary at this time with this kind of material we have, and was a very big and very important movement. Today, I not say not using or we don't need it anymore at all, but we need opaque stenting today much, much less, because we have other materials, new materials with different optical and different properties, and we working today more lightly, more, I would say almost more happy. We create our teeth in compared to many years ago.
This is a dentin A1 and PS0. Again, dentin A1 and PS0. Dentin A1 and PS0 again.
So we have where we have bleach color in creation kit. So the manufacturer, they think, okay, we make a white opaque, we make a white dentin, and we make a white enamel, and then we have a bleached tooth. But that's not like this. So I never use that because this make me not happy. But in between, I was sometimes lucky, sometimes a little bit less lucky
Same as
to have my own mixture with very, very beautiful whitish. And sometimes I try the same thing again, it doesn't work. So it's, I don't know. We hope today it will work.
So it's dentin A2.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit dentin A2.
Chroma.
Dentin A2.
So we think like what I want is, look, if you have, I have here A2, just I using a little bit this enamel. So I have a different, I have a softer dentin. So easy is that to do.
So it's dentin A2 and enamel 59, just mixed together,
Yeah.
half,
It's
just
not
to
so
create a softer
critically.
dentin.
You take enamel from here or from here. It doesn't make so much difference. So don't make a big philosophy out of a tooth. No?
It's dentin A3, is it? No, that's
Yeah.
all.
No. The new mixer a little bit
The new mixture,
softer,
yeah. So dentin A2 and 59. A little bit of PS0 there.
On top of this very intense whitish A1. Be still translucent, you know.
Stop here, so
PSO, yes. It's just A1 then in PS0.
appreciation doesn't.
No, 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 no.
Sorry.
Was brauchen wir?
Nur meinen Spatel habe ich irgendwo liegen.
Hier.
Noch nicht der.
Nicht der? Zwei. Ist das jetzt bereits das Cutback? Oder?
Mhm. Manchmal mache ich das so, manchmal mache ich das so, manchmal.
Voll anatomisch aufgebaut, sondern einfach
Nur manchmal schon. Jetzt nicht so.
Okay, this is already starting the cutback, so this time he's decided not to do a complete sort of anatomical build-up. He sometimes does it like this, and it varies a little bit.
So I'm sorry, I don't make this bridge first time.
So he has a lot of experience with the case. He's made it many times. He knows about the space requirements for this bridge. This is a PS0. Ist das der Inzisator?
Ja, nein, noch nicht. Kommt schon.
Ist der PS7? This is 59. And SI2. 59. And SI2.
Mhm.
So this is now the incisal frame that I was referring to earlier, which is now applying. It's just basically a mixture of, just one wedge of SI2 next to a wedge of 59. And notice how that he applies this from the palatal aspect, not from the labial. Applies it from the palatal aspect.
Das war auch nicht so richtig gut. I have to.
This is the dentin A2 for the lateral. Dentin A3 for the canine.
I get lost, huh? I feel.
Bauen Sie die Zähne
Normalerweise
bevor Sie
auf.
das Cutback und das zusammen. As he says, he just got a little bit carried away. He usually builds up all the teeth and dentin first before he performs the cutback. So he doesn't normally just build up one tooth and do a cutback. He usually builds them up all. This is again working on the canine here in dentin A3. So here dentin A2. Dentin A2. Dentin A3.
So, okay, I have to.
This is enamel 59. And it's CLO and SI2 that he's mixing together. Almost 50-50, and now he's taken this and he's mixed it with PS0. So this is a mixture of PS0 and a mixture of CLO and SI2. I'd say roughly in 3 equal parts, I think. This is the dentin and dentin A1 and PS0. Den Übergang zu kaschieren, oder?
Ja, ja, ein bisschen.
Just to mask off this transition from the incisal frame, to the dentin, to prevent like a cutoff. PS0 there on the incisal frame in the mesiopalatal aspect. PS0 and the mesio-incisal from behind. Yeah. He now uses this mixture that he's just made, which is PS0, SI2 and CLO, to extend the incisal frame.
Yeah, yeah, hello, almost.
Like an internal halo.
Yeah, yeah, also, yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit like an internal halo.
Ein bisschen, aber ich gehe dann wieder runter. Moment noch, sind wir noch nicht fertig.
Yep. This is HD54. HD54. It's a yellow colored neck transfer. HD53 is a slightly reddish, mild reddish color, like a neck transfer. I'd say 20%. Something like that, yeah. For 20% of the 53. I think it was about 20% of the 53.
Yes, yeah.
Something like that.
I just break the yellow with
Red.
reddish 53 from the 54.
And now we're mixing a little bit of this with dentin A3. So there's a lot of intermixing, and it's a lot of not really adding or introducing too many new powders. Just a lot of intermixing, and that creates very soft transitions from one powder to the other. Das ist Innova?
Yes.
5 and
It is, no, it is instant. Makeup instant.
13 and 12?
Yeah.
This Makeup Instant, from the Makeup Instant kit, there are stains, and this is a mixture of Makeup Instant 12 and 13. One is yellow.
14.
14, sorry. 12 and 14, isn't it?
Yeah.
12 and 14. One's yellow and the other one's brown. Like a chestnut brown. 12, 14. It's a fairly complex mixture there, yeah. So we have a mixture of HT54, which is yellow, HT53, which is red, dentin A3, and a small amount of a stain mixture consisting of Makeup Instant 12 and 14 is mixed up here. That is yellow, is it? SI2. No, Makeup Instant.
Mamelon.
So this is what he's going to use for his mamelon. Sorry, that's the making mixture.
63.
Yes, making 63, dentin A3. Might want to
Be
zoom in on
careful.
this as much as you can. Yeah, as much as you can. Okay, just please pay very careful attention to the placement of the mamelons. Okay, first of all, very, very small amounts, and the moisture control is very important. This is dentin, so he's just applied the mamelon mixture.
So do not forget we have a very
High value.
high value part here. We
This is-
lower that just little, just something you cannot see, but you can feel maybe a little bit warmer.
So what he's applying now is that this is the mixture that contains the stain. So the HD54-53 mixture that contains the makeup stains. Illusion?
So yeah, no, we also are using regular a little bit of illusion all the time to make. Oh my God, this is very, very delicate. The amount on these things you see, you cannot almost feel that. Very, very little.
Okay. The illusion is a stain, okay? It's a complex gray, and it's very, very fluorescent, and the purpose of the illusion is you apply it in this area to imitate depth. This is where the natural tooth has a lot of depth, but it's a very, it's a very volatile stain. You want to use this in the tiniest amount. Very, very, very small amount, very moist.
So we have
And then cover with,
no, not cover.
no?
No, a little bit below.
A little bit below
Yeah,
dentin.
yeah, we have this intense whitish.
This is a dentin and PS0, isn't
Yeah.
it? So it's just a little bit below the dentin and dentin A1 and PS0. And now on the peaks of the mamelons, just on the very periphery of them, right on the top of the mamelons there. This is dentin A1 and PS0 on the fringes or the tips of the mamelons to soften them. What is this?
Innova number 1,
Melon.
this is pink.
Yes. So this is is now used a bit of a stain from the Innova system. This is Innova number 1 melon, which is like a pinkish fluorescent stain. Yes. This is to accentuate, the mamelons just a little bit more. It's a very small amount, very small.
So on top of the mamelon, I using enamel straight. However, which enamel
59.
I have on my slab.
Instant one, Innova 1 melon. Iron Innova 1 melon, the pinkish one, Innova 1. Okay. Das ist einfach nur für 59 oder SI2. Bisschen
Ja.
59, bisschen SI2,
Ja.
oder?
Yeah.
So it's just a variation of the 59 and the SI2. That's done.
So we make a translucent, bluish translucent on top of the illusion.
Okay, this is the SO10, OT, and CLO mixture that he's applying there, and it's just sort of below the incisal edge there. Actually, it's not on top; it's sort of below. This is HD 54,
But
53.
very little, you see. Maybe you're not you can only feel that later on. You cannot see that.
This is the mixture of the SI2, CLO, and PS0. So I know he probably doesn't want to like hearing this, but this is what I was trying to say earlier in my presentation. And it's really very tiny, tiny, tiny layers, very, 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 very small layers. And as he says, you might not even see them, but you know they're there, very small, very faint layers. This is the SO10, just taken a little bit of the SO10 OT-CLO mixture. And he intermixes that with the previous mixture of SI2, CLO, and PS0. It's about 8 powders now, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is really simplified build-up.
Das ist jetzt ein tropfenartiges Auftragen, oder? Ein
Ja.
abwechselndes, tropfenartiges Auftragen, wie Sie es damals mal im Buch hatten. Ist das etwa richtig?
Könnte ungefähr so sein.
Ist das so erklärt?
So what he's doing now is just like applying little teardrops of material and just creating variations. It's just a variation. So there's a bit of SI2. There's a lot of these intermixed materials that he has. This was SI2, CLO, PS0. And this is just, this is no sort of decisive build-up plan. This is just to break it up, to create, interruption from one powder to the other. This is the mixture that contains the stains, the instant stains, for instance. And again, very, very, very small amounts, really tiny. It's a little bit of the PS0. So what he's actually doing there, it's not really that he's applying the porcelain. He feeds the porcelain from the brush to the ceramic below as he pulls the brush along the surface. It's not really taking an amount and sort of placing it. It is really, he's feeding the porcelain out of the brush tip onto the crown. It's very moist. This only works when the porcelain is very wet. '59. It's just a variety of enamels and a variety of these intermixed layers that he has, these intermixed mixtures that he has. This is the SO10 OT and CLO. And again, SO10 OT and CLO.
Ich kann schon sagen, dass es einfach nur ist, um das aufzubrechen, dass es nicht zu uniform ist, aber das ist jetzt nicht unbedingt strictly einem Schema oder so folgt. Es ist einfach um das zu
Ist schon ein bisschen intuitiv, schon ein Schema irgendwo verhindert.
Okay, Willie's just informed me that what he's doing right now is fairly intuitive, so it doesn't really follow a precise scheme. It's just basically to break those layers up and to create difference in refraction and just make this look natural. This is the dentin make-in mixture
Ja.
on the palatal aspect there.
Das ist um diesen optischen Abriss zu vermeiden.
Genau.
And this is really to prevent the, a cutoff, an optical cutoff to the incisal frame. This is to mask the transition from the incisal frame to the dentin from the palatal aspect there. Again, this is the dentin and the make-in mixture. This is the mixture that contains the makeup instant stains, dentin A3, HT54, HT53, and instant 12 and 14. And now just a very, very small amount of illusion at the cingulum. And covered with SI2. Again, SI2. Sorry.
Sie nehmen das SI2 sehr viel für die palatinale Anatomie.
Ja, ziemlich.
Kann ich das so sagen?
Wird das so sagen.
Okay, Willie uses the SI2, which is one of his most favorite powders, a lot for designing the palatal anatomy. And that's actually it's actually a fairly relatively simple concept. You have something in the fossae that is high in chroma and high in opacity, and then the palatal ridges, the palatal anatomy, is then mostly completed with SI2. So there's not really particularly complicated there. Is that 59? This is the enamel 59.
No.
No?
It's SI2 clear and PSO.
I'm sorry, Skip got this wrong.
Okay, I'm not apologizing anymore.
So this is this was the mixture of SI2, CLO, and PS0 on the mesial aspect, the mesiolabial aspect of the central there.
Viertel nach 12 ist es, ne?
Ist gut, ja. Wir sind gut dran.
This is the mixture of SO10, OT, and CLO.
Warum, oder ist es in diesem mesialen Aspekt, dem scheinen Sie jetzt eine große Aufmerksamkeit?
Dem?
Also haben wir jetzt erst diese
Ja, normalerweise I make this contour intense and then I go with translucent. So I have this is a kind of reflection in the nature. It makes a white line, a kind of makes a call the line angle. Line, yeah, the whitish line. It produces a whitish line on here. from some angles if you look at the light.
Mit den Zahnarten von
Ja.
der Seite reinkommen. Dann kann ich
Ja,
das Weiße
das
quasi
ist
drunter
so.
und drüber ist das klar.
Ja, genau.
Okay, so what he's done is he's paid a bit of attention there to the mesiolabial aspect. And what he's done there first is he's applied this layer of Si2 CLO and PS0, which is a fairly lightish enamel, and then he's put the SO10 OT and CLO on top. And it's like he says you find in nature with the natural teeth that when the light strikes it from a certain angle from the side, you can see this like bluish line there. And this is what he's sort of trying to imitate there. Where's he putting it? He's just put a bit of the dentin A3 there on the palatal aspect where the cingulum is. Yes, can you zoom in?
Maybe
Zoom.
you see that.
Zoom as much as you can. Okay, he's trying to show us this effect that he's trying to create. So as the light strikes this line angle there from the side, it reveals like a bluish sort of area, bluish corner.
It's your father. You remember?
What is that? Why is it his father?
That's my father.
Model. That's his father model.
Oh, the sorry? One more time, kannst du nochmal machen? Da in diesem Bereich, if the light comes in from this area there, it strikes that line angle, you can see a bluish line. And this case, by the way, is the father of Jean-Marc Etienne. It was done for his dad. Was it?
That's we select for a course.
Okay, but it's not.
Not real.
Okay, they've selected this model for the course, but really didn't actually make a bridge for him.
No. You're using that a lot. Yeah, that's I using also.
But if Jean-Marc's dad ever needs a bridge, he's got 10 to choose from. What's that? That's the SO10 OT CLO. This is a bluish translucent opalescent mixture there. That's what it is? That's the stain. That's the mixture that contains the stain. Again, that's dentin A3, HD54, 53, instant 12 and 14. A little bit of the dentin A1 and PS0. That's the halo.
Yeah.
That's what Willie uses this mixture to create a soft whitish halo. So this is the halo there. Again, it's a mixture of dentin A1 and PS0.
Ist irgendwas, was man formlich, also jetzt formlich drauf achten, Korrektur oder irgendwas?
Zirconium schrumpft ein bisschen anders wegen dem Silik. Ja, ist ganz anders. Man muss ein bisschen aufpassen, dass man genug Volumen hat. Sonst kann man, ja, ich gehe relativ gut raus, aber vor allem in solchen Bereichen, wenn man da aufträgt, das wird immer scheiße nachher. Oder?
Was meinen Sie damit, wenn man da aufhört?
Ja, wenn man eine Krone verlängern muss,
Ja, also
ist
zu kurz
das
Wenn es jetzt zu lang ist, kann man sie kürzer machen.
ja, geht das
Also
immer
man
noch.
achten jetzt drauf, dass man es lang genug macht.
Ja, lang und auch dick genug.
Wenn Sie es mit dem Instrument jetzt so drüber gehen, kompaktieren Sie das und drücken Sie das ein bisschen zusammen oder machen Sie kleine
Wenn,
Korrekturen?
nein, ich gehe lieber, ich drücke das zusammen, als wie wenn ich Material wegnehme. Ich komprimiere das lieber, kommt mir besser vor.
Sie drücken das zusammen eigentlich,
Ja,
so ein bisschen mehr Platz.
ein bisschen.
Dann mache ich das schnell, gell?
Ja.
Okay, so what we're doing there at the moment is, you have to consider that, you're working with a zirconia veneering porcelain, which is not lucite stabilized. There's no lucite in there. It means it shrinks more. So you have to consider that you need to overbuild this by something like 1.5 to 2 millimeters. If it's too long when it comes out of the furnace, you can cut it, you can make it short. That's easy. But once it's too short, you can throw it in the bin. You can't make something longer once it's too short. I mean, you can, but you will see a cut off there. Also, the other thing that you've noticed is that he takes his instrument there and he sort of patches over the surface like he's doing now. This is really sort of compressing the powders a little bit more. He's getting himself a little bit more space there by compressing the powders, by compacting them a little bit. and it's pushing the dentin around a little bit with the metal instrument there instead of a brush. So it's dentin A3 on the canine aspect there, the distal aspect of the canine. So dentin A3. Again, dentin A3. This is enamel 59, starting with the incisal frame for the lateral now, again in an interval in the mixture with the SI2, so 59 SI2, and again please notice he places the incisal frame from the palatal aspect.
Der Grund, warum dieses von Palatin noch, dass man von vorne besser betrachten kann,
Ja,
das Verhältnis zwischen dem Teller und dem
so
Motiv.
ungefähr, ja. Ja, ich tue mir leichter, wenn ich das von hinten.
Okay, the reason why he applies the incisal frame from the palatal aspect is because it's easier to judge the relation and the proportion between the dentin and the incisal frame when you look at it from the labial aspect. He finds it's easier to do it that way. So what he's applying now is again this mixture of SI2, CLO and PS0, a whitish enamel basically, with a bit of translucency to it. And here you already have to consider that this tooth has a mesial proclination. It's mesiolabial proclination, and you have to consider this now with your incisal frame. So it's been pushing the incisal frame a little bit from the palatal aspect towards the labial in the mesial area there. PS0 that was. This is SI2. So again, working on the incisal area, they're defining this translucent frame there. This is dentin A2. This is the Macon mixture. Macon dentin mixture, that is Macon 63 and dentin A3. This is not the mamelongs yet though. I was taking out a very small proportion there with a knife, carving out a very small area there.
Was machen wir da?
Ja, nur die Thickness kontrolliert.
It's just checking the thickness there to the framework.
Wie stark muss die sein? 0,5?
0,5 ist schon sehr wenig. Ja? 0,6, 0,7.
The minimum thickness should be between 0.5 and 0.7 millimeters. Now applying the mamelongs there. And this is Macon 63 and dentin A3. This is the whitish dentin mixture that is mixed earlier using a white stain, makeup instant or makeup stain white. So it's a lighter dentin mixture there. I think it's got a bit of PS in it as well. And now again he's preparing a bit of the illusion, complex gray. Very, very small amount. He washes this in on top of the mamelongs. Making a bit of space there in this area there, presumably for something light, for a whitish high value zone there. And again, this is the dentin PS0 mixed with dentin A1 PS0 and a white stain, so it's just increasing the value in this area there. Just a little bit more illusion. And a bit of 59, very slightly above that. So he's not covering the illusion with it, he's putting it slightly above the illusion, on top of the mamelons.
Right, on top of the mamelon, that's important.
And then SI2. SO10, OT, and CLO. This is on top of the illusion. And more of the same. This is the intermixed layer of SI2 CLO. And again, we're sort of getting to what we did earlier with the central. So there's a lot of small little layers to interrupt. This is the Macon-Dentin layer. This is A3, HT54, 53, and the instant layer material there. So just breaking the buildup up, not just all covering this all in one enamel or something. A lot of these intermixed materials he's applying now. Small teardrop shapes, Macon, 63, and Dentin, and stain. SI2 CLO. SO10 OT CLO. So just brushing it into each other. And again, this is the illusion which he's applying at the area of the cingulum. And now, again, what he did before is masking of the transition from the incisor frame to the dentin with the mamelon mixture, which is the Macon 63 and the dentin A3. And this is more chromatic mixture, very opacious, to create the depth in the fossa there. Make it darker in the fossa area there. Again, this is the mixture that has a bit of the stains in it. The fossa is more chromatic, it's closer to the pulp. And then this is the SI2 for the marginal ridges, mesial and distal marginal ridges, SI2 for the cingulum. Exactly the same that he did with the central. Working a little bit there on the palatal anatomy of the lateral. This is the mixture of SI2, CLO, and PS0. Disto-labial marginal ridge there. Again. Starting on the canine now. This is carving away this distal portion, the canine's palatal aspect is usually very chromatic, it's got a very warm color. This is the labial cutback there for the canine. This is the cutback extends from the incisal aspects to round about the middle of the canine, leaving a little bit of bulk there at the neck, just a little bit. Dentin A1 and PS0 towards the incisal aspect of the canine to increase the value a little bit there.
Just make a little bit of difference. Different. So please, if you're working on this canine looks very simple.
It's not.
But to reproduce makes a little bit headache. always also for me. It's a very tricky, and the most difficult tools for most people are the canine.
Diese Bombierung da.
Yeah, and you know the angulation and everything to control that is not everyone's strength.
This as a canine's got a very tricky shape. It's a very sort of bulky towards the cervical aspect on the middle of the tooth, and it also is twisted. It's got a little bit of torsion to it. So it's a challenging shape. So again, working on the incisal frame, then this is the enamel 59 in interval with the SI2. Again, working on the incisal frame, again applying it from the palatal aspect to better judge the proportion in relation to the dentin. 59. Dentin A3, the distal proximal area there. SI2. Again, SI2. This is now really brushing the incisal frame a little bit down towards the labial. It's compressing and shaping the powders a little bit with the back of the brush. It's taking a bit of the dentin portion out there, removing some of the dentin portion there.
Um es heller zu machen oder wie?
Ja, ein bisschen aufhellen.
To make it lighter in this area there, to increase the value a little bit there with the dentin A1 and PS0. This is the mixture that contains the stains, dentin A3, HD54, HD53, and instant 12 and 14. Dentin A2? This is dentin A2.
Incisal zone.
This is the incisal halo, the incisal hemline there with dentin A2. And now progressing to the mamelongs again. This is the Macon 63 and dentin A3. This is the Innova 1, which is the melon. Innova 1. It's like a pinkish fluorescent stain. And again, the illusion on top of that, about 2 to 3 millimeters below the incisal edge. 59 on top of the mamelongs to diffuse the mamelongs, cover the mamelongs. 59 in the center, in the mesial, and probably the distal. And the distal. And then SI2 in between.
Soll man das Mamelon Diffuser nennen? Mamelon Diffuser?
Die Mamelons im Canine sind immer eigentlich ein bisschen softer, so oft nicht so diese
diese
Zungen,
Laufstrukturen
ja,
und so.
genau.
It says the mamelons, so the canines, are usually softer and they don't have these defined, clearly visible structures as we know them from the laterals and the central. So we apply this. This is a HD54 and 53. Increase the chroma a little bit in this aspect there. This is Si2, CLO, and PS0. This is Dentin A3, HD54, HD53, and Instant 12 and 14. HD54 and HD53. Si2, CLO, and PS0.
Können wir da jetzt einfach sagen, wir gelangen jetzt, sage ich mal, in die Zone, was man sagt, vielleicht die äußere Schmelzhaut oder so, wo man einfach diese Abwechslung schaffen will, einfach mit den unterschiedlichen Massen. Kann man das so erklären, einfach nur und sagen, dass es einfach nicht zu uniform ist, ne, dass nicht alles mit einer Pampe abdecken.
Ja, besser ist es schon so, ja. Wir haben jetzt natürlich viele Möglichkeiten noch einzugreifen im zweiten Brand.
Okay. Also jetzt geht es einfach nur darum, diese
Ja,
Abwechslung zu schaffen.
genau.
Deswegen diese verschiedenen
Dass man mal von innen heraus die farbliche Struktur irgendwie einigermaßen festgelegt haben.
Okay, so we're trying to fix the color structures. We can still do corrections with the second fire, but this step, when we reach the outer enamel skin, this outer enamel layer, it's really all about creating this randomness that contributes to this natural look. And this is why we use a lot of different enamel powders there and the intermixed powders, just to create randomness and to make this look a little bit more natural. So it's really more about defining the color attributes of the restoration at this stage, and not the shape 100%. We have the second fire for this. Now we're coming to the palatal aspect of the canine, which, as I said before, is very chromatic. It's got a very strong color, and we've just mixed again this stain of the Makeup Instant 12 and 14 in there to intensify this, to make this a little bit more chromatic, more color, stronger color.
Du machst es einfach nur nochmal anfeuchten, dass es nicht zu trocken ist.
Genau, ja.
So just it's pretty warm in here. Just wetting the powders again to make sure they're not too dry. It's very important to stack the porcelain wet, not too dry. It's just wetting the porcelain again. That's all.
Vielleicht kurz ein paar Worte dazu. Warum ist die Feuchtigkeit? Warum Feuchtigkeit wichtig ist? Warum nicht zu trocken?
Augenblick.
Das ist auch sehr warm. Keep smiling. Simplified for the Americans.
This Aqualine slab has big advantages to supply our powders with humidity. But if you are, I feel when you are in air condition, what I normally not have in my lab in Switzerland, it works completely different. Here, with the air condition, dries out less fast, and sometimes, depend how the air condition works, I have too much liquid here. So when we mix that first with our modeling liquid, so we have a special condition with that. we have that stands very well, so it's holds, and then you have the new supply wetting up on the slab, and then it goes out of proportion. The physical moment is changed here. So then mostly the masses not stand up anymore, this fine, and if you have too much supply for liquid, the grain becoming separated, the liquid is in between, and then when you not care about, you get sometimes porous, on your porcelain.
Woher kommt die Porosität? Wenn
When just the grains, the water goes in and separates the grain from each other, so you have a lot of water in between the different grains. So it's good to mix them up again. Yeah, so they have to be mixed. And if you make second bake, people said, "Oh, my second bake sometimes has bubbles." They are not bubbles. Sometimes we do too wet and too little and too wet applying the second layer. And then becomes like one grain, another grain, and looks terrible. But it's not porous. It's just proportional powders, and we're losing this ideal powder water proportion. Yeah, that's we're losing. But it's sometimes, well, it's not a big thing, but you have to know that, and then you can work with.
Let's just wetted the pontic area with a little bit more of the universal liquid.
The wetting is never, of course, on top of the surface. Never like this. Never this way. Only go here, so water absorbs.
It spreads.
Yeah.
Okay, getting started working on the palatal aspect of the quinine. It's a stent in A3 and Macon 63. Again, masking the transition from the incisor frame to the dentin there. Illusion for the cingulum area. Sorry. Sorry. And covering the area there with SI2. This is the mixture that contains the stains, dentin A3, HD54, HD53 mixed together. And then he's added some more of the instant 12 and instant 14. And again, the instant 12 is a yellow stain, and the instant 14 is like a chestnut brown stain. This is HD54 and 53, SI2.
Was jetzt hier einfach wichtig ist in dem Abschnitt, ist, dass man die physikalische Dynamik einigermaßen hat, sich überwiegend auf die Farbe konzentriert, dass es lang genug ist, nicht zu kurz.
Richtig, dass man irgendwo schon das vielleicht auch doch ein bisschen exzentrisch versetzt, und es wird dann reingeholt von der Schrumpfung und so weiter, dass man ein bisschen aufpasst. dass das so wenig wie möglich passiert.
Okay, so really, this aspect now of the first fire has really been mainly about, getting the basic proportions right, most importantly the length, make sure that it's long enough, not too short, and really attributing the color most importantly, those color aspects, giving it a natural look, things like that. Again, working on the fossa here of the lateral, just making it a little bit more intense. Again, this is the mixture of making 63 and dentin A3. I think what is probably most confusing is this bit towards the end where he's applied all the enamels on the top there and all these variety of enamels. And it's not really that there's a clear structure to this. It's about breaking it up, creating this randomness, creating a natural look, attributing the color at this stage. SI2 working on the mesiomarginal ridge of the lateral there. SI2 on the labial there. Creating the foundation for this twisted lateral. This lateral is mesially protruded, it's mesially inclined. We consider this now. Defining the interdental aspect a little bit more with the knife. And pushing the powders a little bit, compacting them just a little bit, make a little bit of space. Das ist ein OT rein, oder?
Ja. S10.
The pure SO10.
Yeah.
So this is one thing that Willie does, quite often. It's a little trick that he has, when you have those bluish, wedges, those bluish incisal mesial wedges. He's just taken the knife, and he's just, he hasn't really taken anything out. He's pushed the powders apart, okay, making a trench, and he's now filling this up with SO10. Same thing here in the mesial. It's not really removing powders, it's just really pushing them apart, making a trench there.
Das funktioniert gut, weil da wirklich eine Separierung da ist. Ne? Das ist wirklich eine Separierung von dem einen Pulver zum anderen.
Ja.
Das kann man sehen.
Ja.
Ne? Ja. Kann ich das sagen?
Ja, ich würde jetzt einmal keinen Kommentar dazugeben,
Okay.
vorläufig, oder? Ha?
Okay.
Not everything has a reason.
Wie bitte?
Not everything has a reason.
Okay. SO10, sorry, just fills it up. It's the same that he done with the quinine, so
Ja.
same thing. So again, working a little bit on the halo of the quinine there, PS0 and A1 dentin. This is the stain dentin mixture. Dentin A3. Dentin A2. Really quick.
That's stage 2.
Confuses. Dentin A2.
Das ist eine Art palatinale Halung.
Mhm. Genau.
Kind of a palatal halo. So again the same, just going with a knife, create a little trench by pushing the powders apart on the distal labial aspect there of the central and fill it up with SO10. So also, it does it a little bit erratic. It's not that straight. It's a little bit erratic, not too straight. It can look too artificial if you make it too straight. Same on the mesial there. And again, SO10.
Das 10 für 1.
Ist gut, oder?
So very carefully remove the bridge from the model. Onto the blotting paper.
I never touch, huh? Never touch. With my fingers, because I always worry about I move the material from the frame.
Dentin A3 for the pontic. Freely applied. Dentin A2, HD 53 and 54, PS0 on the neck, then this is the dentin and the stain mixture in the interproximal area there, covered with SR2. There, it's not really covering, sorry, it's just doing the mesial marginal ridge there. Now it's covering with SiO2, compensating a little bit also for the shrinkage in that area there, just make it a little bit wider. This is the mixture of SiO2, CLO and PS0. And a bit of dentin on top, dentin A2. Dentin A2. HT 53, 54. SiO2, CLO, PS0. SO10 OT CLO. Something that's intermixed. '54, '53. A3 dentin. A2 dentin. SO10 OTCLO. SI2. Again SI2. SI2 CLO and P0. SO10 OTCLO. This is largely an intuitive process, just
No, it's just to
refine the shape. Just,
not so important.
and then dentin A3, and to cover this area where he
Incidental.
interdental is.
The tray, my tray is somewhere. My tray. Yeah. Okay.
Interdentale Separierung vom Rand.
Hmm.
Interdental separation before the firing.
Interdental separation before the firing to allow for shrinkage in that area there. All the way down to the core of the framework. An A3 dentin.
Okay.
Okay, this is now ready for first fire.
Thank you. Thank you.